Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I cover nostalgic, obscure, or otherwise strange content. Today is part 2 of the magical legend of the Leprechauns. If you haven't watched the past video, the last video that I just posted before this one, I suggest watching that so you're not totally confused. I mean, the rest of us are entirely confused, but like you'll be confused along with the rest of us, you know what I mean? Because this is the part 2, I'm not going to spend too much time explaining like everything that happened because we literally pick up where the last one left off. The main thing to remember is that you've got Mickey and Jessica, who are like Romeo and Juliet, but one is a leprechaun and one is a fairy, and the leprechauns and fairies are going to war. And there's a businessman that none of us like in there somewhere. Do you guys remember how in the last video I said Mick Jessica was like Mickey and Jessica's ship name? Ever since then, my dumbass ADHD riddled brain has just been walking around my house going, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, make Jessica. Okay, anyway, we've got a lot to get into, so let's just get to it. Leprechauns and fairies in war. Jack's train departing from Ireland, but wait, Jack is not on the train. He's decided to stay, and he looks through the windows of the train as it pulls away, and he sees, what's her name? Kathleen, the girl that he likes, Kathleen. And she had her bags with her as if she was going to go back to New York with him, which would have been a very bad idea on her part, but anyway. They see each other and they're like running, and at this moment my brain was like, wouldn't it be funny if they were just like, I can't get, there's a track in the way, but they get there. They go into the subway and they figure it out. Everybody's staring at the two people making out in the subway. Nature is dying because everybody who's in charge of it is in a war.
Were you just coming to see if I was going?
She had a bag, didn't she, Jack?
I had my bag, didn't I?
Yeah. Alright, pause. What do you think happens next? If you said a giant trout jumps up and spits Jack in the face with water, you'd be right. But I don't know why you would think that.
Have you ever done any fighting?
Because Jack has like the teensiest, tiniest bit of military experience, they ask him to be their general because they have none.
We still have a few pots of gold left.
All those pots of gold were just fairy stories.
We are fairies.
Alright, I see you, leprechauns. Meanwhile, Mickey is walking sadly on the beach. Like, man, I wish I could visit my girlfriend. His girlfriend, Jessica, being trapped in the underwater palace. I love how he sees the fairies flying in and he's like, shit! And he just like dives behind a rock. It's really funny. Jessica's nanny, I guess, the person who's supposed to be keeping an eye on her, is like reminiscing about all of her past marriages randomly.
He was the only man I ever knew who was allergic to mathematics.
And I've watched this once already and I still don't understand because they put her in the underwater palace to keep her away from the leprechauns because leprechauns do not do water. But Mickey just walks right in and takes her out right from under her handler's nose. So like, I don't know. Feels like a plot hole, but I'm gonna move on.
The swamp is neutral territory.
They head to a swamp together because it's like neutral ground to try to find like sanctuary.
Why are they called butter spirits?
Yeah, why are they?
Because all they care about is butter.
Somehow that answer leaves me with more questions.
Princess Jessica.
Oh, hi there.
You wouldn't have any butter about, would you?
I've got some I can't believe it's not in the fridge. So meanwhile, the fairy king and queen have figured out that their daughter is missing, but they don't realize that she's run away of her own free will. They think Mickey's kidnapped her. Can't really explain it, but I know exactly what that guy's going through. Meanwhile, while there's storms and crops dying and stuff raging on, the Irish minister from the first movie, you'll remember, he's giving a very foreboding sermon.
Why is it that the Almighty God has deserted us? I have absolutely no idea.
I've sat through some pretty concerning sermons in my lifetime, but I've never literally just seen a pastor be like, well, everything's broken. Everything's broken. I have no answers.
The fairies and leprechauns.
Anybody with any sensible opinions?
Yeah, fairies, that would be ridiculous, movie. That would be ridiculous.
Could it be the state of the economy, Father? Sit down and shut up, man.
well, maybe it's the income inequality, Father. It's the wage gap. Father's just like, shut up, dude. This is church. What am I supposed to do? Listen to your problems? He's a very interesting father. Also, his little stuffed animal that he won at the fair is in the front row, and I just can't stop laughing at that. Meanwhile, Kathleen is back at Jack's house, and she finds paperwork and stuff proving that he was there on business to try to buy everybody's land up, which I honestly thought we had already gotten over. I thought that was kind of bypassed, you know, the whole, like, running to see each other at the train. I know he didn't, like, I guess he never told her, but, like, it's weird that it's just now coming up and is now going to be, like, a plot device for most of this movie. Also, it's snowing because of nature being all messed up and stuff, which my conspiracy theory is that they did that on purpose because they kind of sort of wanted to make it also a Christmas Hallmark movie, because that's when everybody watches Hallmark movies. They needed, like, one shot of, like, that Irish cottage in the snow, you know? If I find out that there's a sequel called Christmas of the Magical Legend of the Leprechauns, I'm gonna lose my mind.
You were trying to take our homes.
So she confronts Jack, and Jack is like, but none of that matters anymore. I quit my job, and she's not happy, which I don't like Jack either, but again, he's already, like, quit, so I don't really know. I guess he kind of lied and kept secrets. That's not good, but, like, she's very angry about this for most of the movie now. It feels like she should have been angry about this, like, 45 minutes into the first movie, you know?
Jessica and Mickey Mouse doing it here under my protection.
The fairies fly out to the swamp to try to find Mickey and Jessica.
I'd like to bribe you.
Spoken like a true politician.
Have a salad.
He's offended.
Butter. Butter, of course, yeah.
But then he's like, oh yeah, butter. I would sell my own family for butter. But Mickey and Jessica have already snuck out the back. Like, he was really just kind of holding them off for them, so they get away.
What's the verdict? I haven't given it much thought.
Jack is still incredibly apathetic to the literal war that his friends are going through.
Engaged in a war. And you haven't thought about it.
Yeah, you tell him, Papa Leprechaun. I already forget your name. There's a lot of people in this movie.
Could you talk to Kathleen?
In true Jack fashion, he's like, if you help me get my girlfriend back, I'll help you win the war. Come on, Jack.
She's as good as back in your arms.
So Papa Leprechaun's like, deal. And then he calls up all the leprechaun soldiers, and then Jack is like, what, I have to train all these guys? And it's like, yeah, that's what we just said, Jack.
By myself?
And then Kathleen's brothers all come to kick the shit out of Jack.
What did you do to our sister?
Because he broke their sister's heart.
You hit the fella the last time.
But they don't really have the teamwork down. So Jack's like, look, I'll make you a deal.
Why don't we discuss this over a drink?
Do you have any chips at all?
Or maybe, some little nibbles.
No, what now? So they sit down to have a couple beers together.
How do you feel about getting some gold? Some gold?
And then Papa Leprechaun tries to, like, Jedi mind trick, words into their heads almost, I think. And this is a confusing interaction. Okay. I'm gonna tell it to you the way that I understand it, and maybe I just am confused. Papa Leprechaun offers the brothers gold to help Jack help him by training his troops, which I don't know why that was necessary.
Ask them if they've done any soldiering.
Jack is probably capable of doing it by himself, but anyway, that happens. And then this one brother catches Papa Leprechaun. They're trying so hard to track him in so it looks like he's actually holding him up anyway.
What are you doing?
And then he threatens him. He's like, give me your gold. And instead of Papa Leprechaun being like, that's literally what I just said, he's like angry about it. Even though that's literally what he just said.
Catch a poor defenseless leprechaun!
He gets away, kind of, with leprechaun magic. And then somehow we jump to them helping to train his troops. Anyway, I'm just very confused. It's very confusing.
What army of layabouts?
So Jack doesn't really do any training whatsoever. The brothers do all of it.
I said right, sir. Two, you're right.
And it's not going well. Okay, come here. You can watch movie too. Yeah, I know. It's a weird movie.
But I need you to do something about this fighting. It's getting worse.
Kathleen stops by and she's like, look, I still hate you. I just need you to fix this war because my crops are dying.
You shouldn't be fighting in the war. You should be trying to stop it.
But then after she tells him to do something, she tells him not to fight in the war, which is weird. Because one, didn't you literally just say to do something about the war? And two, you were there when they had the conversation about being a general. He's doing what they asked and you seemed on board with it. But I don't know. I don't know.
I pulled somebody out of the river. That's all I did.
And then Jack goes on like a pity party rant.
We'll have to become invisible.
And then the leprechauns asked to turn invisible while they're trained, and then the training goes even worse.
I hear you and Jack have had a falling out, Kathleen.
And then Papa Leprechaun tries to talk to Kathleen.
Now, if you want my advice...
I don't.
I'll give it to you anyway.
We've all been there.
You're as beautiful a flower as ever.
Don't make it weird. Just don't.
I was 200 years younger and 3 feet taller.
Don't make it weird. Don't make it weird. Don't make it weird.
Oh, hello, there's Mary Muldoon.
Oh. The only thing weirder than the whole situation at hand is that he's also married.
Anything wrong, Jack?
I have to stop a war, save the world.
Yeah, you know, just like the usual stuff. Usual stress factors.
Oh, is that all?
I do love Mary, though. She's very cute. So with Mickey and Jessica still on the run, the fairy parliament... they decide that they need to get even. If Jessica is going to be kidnapped from them, then they're going to kidnap somebody from the leprechauns. Now the leprechauns have set up camp. And they decide, while setting up camp the night before this big battle, to have a very loud dance party. Which feels like a bad strategic idea. And of course, the fairies launch a sneak attack to kidnap Papa Leprechaun. I think his name is Seamus Muldoon, but don't quote me on that.
We kidnapped the leader of the Leprechauns.
But then, there's been a wacky mix-up. They've kidnapped Mama Leprechaun, Mary Muldoon. Poor Mary. Jack's having some weird, trippy dreams. Then he wakes up and Mickey and Jessica are just camped out sleeping in his room.
If we hadn't run away together.
They're like, we need your help, Jack. We're the cause of this entire war.
Who's the Grand Banshee?
She's the head, the chief.
Let's talk to her.
And Jack finds out about the Grand Banshee.
Talk to the Grand Banshee.
Yeah, where does she live?
And he immediately is like, I would like to speak to the fairy manager. Let's go talk to the Grand Banshee.
I'd like Kathleen Fitzpatrick to come with us.
And then he's like, I think Kathleen should come with us. And they're like, why? And he's like,
She's from around these parts. She's a woman.
Yeah, those are reasons, I guess. The fairies literally hijack her pony while she's riding, and then Jack just hitches a ride, and off they go, the four of them, to see the Grand Banshee.
You're going to interrogate me? About what?
I love how defiant Mary is.
Seamus never tells me a thing. Just the same with Boric.
She and the Fairy Queen are bonding over husband issues.
Ruin our peace and quiet.
I haven't seen much peace and quiet since I've been here.
And then Jack and Kathleen are fighting over their relationship while they're climbing this mountain.
He didn't tell you.
Not one word.
After Jack was such a jerk in the first movie, he's still kind of a jerk here, but it's nice to see him kind of get taken down a peg a little bit, even if the fight is kind of ridiculous. So there's a scene where they're doing this death-defying thing where they try to get across this cavern without falling to their death. And then Kathleen almost falls to her death.
We've got to help them.
Yeah, you guys are fairies. Do something. I know you're tiny, but you can help. And they do. With the help of the fairies, Kathleen does not die.
Oh, that's okay, Kathleen. No thanks necessary.
And Jack's mad that he's not getting proper credit for saving her life.
I was just about to thank you.
Maybe you could just save her life without needing a thank you, Jack.
Nothing gets to a lady's heart quicker than saving her from falling to her death.
I mean, sure. Is that the new, pickup artist alpha male advice? Save a girl's life and she'll marry you then. So Mickey and Jessica decide that they're going to go see the Grand Banshee together to represent both sides of the war.
Fergus Flynn, Esquire.
There's this buff fireman. I don't know what he's actually called, but that's how I think about him. Who's guarding the door and not letting them in, and then Jack tricks him.
You're not big enough.
Now, go!
And then Mickey and Jessica manage to run in, while Jack and Kathleen manage to run away. They scamper off. And so they walk into the Banshees Hotel, the Grand Banshees Hotel. I'm thinking of the Grand Budapest Hotel, but just with banshees everywhere. Everybody's a banshee.
Welcome to the Hotel Splendide.
They talk their way all the way up to visit the Grand Banshee.
Why are you living in a hotel? Because I really like the room service.
She basically tells them, I can't stop the war. Your families are fighting until they learn their lesson. I can't really intervene.
From here, I can see Mother Nature herself.
She tells them that Mother Nature is in trouble, and she points them out the window to where there's a giant tree. It's kind of like the tree of life, kind of, I guess, but also not really. Basically, the tree is wilting and the leaves are falling off, and when the last leaf falls, everything dies, the world ends. It's like an even more intense Beauty and the Beast.
Well, I can't trust you anymore.
Kathleen and Jack are once again having the same argument that they have now had for almost an hour straight.
Listen to me.
Jack is still lashing out. He's going through this whole growth process, but he's still lashing out.
I want to be happy.
Jesus, dude, alright, go be happy.
Well, I suppose I have to do the honorable thing and rescue my wife.
Yeah, that'd be nice, sir.
They might torture her if we attack.
You can't cheer me up that easily.
Oh my god, get a divorce. Just get a... Can leprechauns get divorces? You need one of those. So then the leprechauns launch an attack on the floating fairy kingdom. I know, stay with me. By catapulting themselves since they can't fly. I guess none of them are in love. As has been previously established, the only way that leprechauns can fly. They can't do that, so they catapult themselves up to the palace and then, like, drop down ladders so that the rest of the team can come up, and they're just having a battle, like, on the balcony. The battle scene's super boring, and then afterwards it's just sad, because there's all these presumed dead fairies and leprechauns, except for this guy. This fairy doesn't look dead. He looks like he's just chilling. And then Mickey and Jessica happen upon this tree. And here's a weird side quest to the movie, okay?
Evil things sit on those twisted branches.
Mickey's like, hey, I heard that if people who are in love sleep under this tree, they'll wake up and they won't be in love anymore. Maybe if we do that, the war will stop.
Maybe we could return to our families and they'd make peace.
Which, like, one, can't you just not do that, right? Like, can't you, instead of having the love magically sucked up out of you, couldn't you just, I don't know, go back home and pretend like you're not in love anymore if you think that's the issue? But anyway, Mickey's like, no, we have to do this. We have to stop being in love. This is the only way. So they lay down against this tree, and I thought, because this is a Hallmark movie, right? So I truly thought, you know, this is clearly Romeo and Juliet with fairies and leprechauns. I thought that this was going to be in lieu of them, like, unaliving themselves, right? Like, instead they're just going to lose their love, and maybe they'll get it back at the end of the movie, and that'll be like that. It'll be like their version of, like, the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. What I got was weirder. They lay down in front of this tree. The tree sparks lightning, and there's really weird sound effects. Sounds like sound effects I heard in the Jimmy Neutron video game. Anybody remember that? And then they get up and they're like, I think we're not in love anymore.
My arms around you, like this.
But then plot twist, they are. So the whole thing was pointless. They are still in love. And also, the movie never explains why that is. Like, I thought later on we'd get this long drawn out explanation of, like, their love is real, so it can't be taken away. There's none of that. The movie is literally like, well, that happened. We did that. I'm proud of us. Let's move on and never talk about it ever again.
Does that mean peace? Never.
Papa Leprechaun is not willing to agree to peace talks.
There's one there.
Well,
And he's also trolling Kathleen's brothers by making them dig for gold that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, keep going.
Classic leprechaun shenanigans.
We should be digging a tunnel to get in.
Well, that's what I keep saying.
Mickey and Jessica's moms are still bonding over the fact that their husbands never listen to them, and they're apparently in very tumultuous marriages. I'm very sorry for them.
He's digging a tunnel under the palace.
That's not right.
Also, who needs to dig a tunnel either way? It's a floating castle, right? I'm very confused. And then Mickey and Jessica go back to the butter fairy with a tub of butter this time, so they came prepared now.
We want your advice. This situation needs someone who's devious.
They're like, we came back for advice because you're such a two-faced liar.
Have you thought of dying at all?
And here it is. Here is the final Romeo and Juliet parallel. He's like, if you want to end the war, why don't you just unalive yourself? Trying to tone down the drama for YouTube's sake.
No, I don't mean for real.
So it's Romeo and Juliet with a Hallmark twist, right? He gives them the poison, and he gives them an antidote. And as long as they take the antidote within 10 minutes of the poison, they're good. I don't know how you take antidote when you're in a coma. Semantics. Logistics. Something of that nature.
They all think you're under some magic spell.
We are. We're in love.
Ugh.
Good luck, Jack.
So they make this plan. They send Jack out to the field where everybody's meeting for a peace talk, and he basically is going to give them the ultimatum that they're going to cancel their subscriptions to Life if they don't stop the war. But on his way there, he gets caught up in a tornado, like just a legit tornado, and his life gets saved by the Grand Banshee. Oh, I think the CGI got worse from the first movie to the second. Never mind, I said I wouldn't talk that much about it anyway.
You're the Grand Banshee.
What were you expecting? 2 heads, fire breathing? I could do that too.
No.
She's my favorite part of this movie. She and Mary Muldoon. They do not get enough screen time, and I want more screen time. So Jack crawls his way up to the leprechaun tents and is like, look, you gotta stop this war for your kid's life.
I can't do it.
And Papa Leprechaun is very reluctant to do that when it's literally his kid's own life at stake. Come on, man. But he reluctantly sends this message to the fairies to meet up on the battlefield.
I am Seamus.
Oh, his name is Seamus. I was correct. Seamus. It's such a go-to Irish name. I feel like this, leprechaun movie wouldn't be what it is if there wasn't one guy named Seamus. You know what I mean?
We're here to make peace.
So Jack's trying to moderate.
Where's my daughter?
The news about the impending death of their children does not go over well, as it shouldn't.
We're here to make peace.
These low-angle shots of Jack, where he's just like, we're here to make peace. It's motivated because, everybody around him is, this tall, but it's a funny shot, you know? But then, before they get official word that they really have to go through with this, they're just like, let's drink the poison. Let's get it over with.
It must be within 10 minutes.
Yes, I know.
And they make Kathleen promise to keep an eye on the clock so that they can get their antidote in time.
Over here!
She calls for help. They get hauled in front of everybody.
Jessica! Mickey!
It's very sad.
You can't let their sacrifice be in vain. End this war now.
Their parents are like, let's draw up a peace treaty.
A handshake between gentlemen is more binding than all the treaties in the world.
Is that true? I mean, whatever is the most time effective, but I feel like you want things in writing, you know, especially when you're agreeing to end a war. Kathleen comes running in with the antidote, but then she falls and the antidote breaks, and so she loses the antidote, and then Jack tries to run in and help, but bless his heart, he's not very helpful, and he just falls into a ditch and hits his head.
Where's Jack?
So I guess he's dead now?
Will someone help?
This is taking a very weird turn, I know. I know nobody saw this coming when we started the first video.
I love you, Jack.
And the second he's down for the couch, she's like, I'm not mad anymore. Please don't die.
Come on, man. We're there.
Not the time, sir. Everybody's very sad.
Grand Banshee, save our children! Save them!
And then the Grand Banshee shows up and she's like, please save Mickey and Jessica, and also Jack.
He doesn't need it. He's only winded.
Wait, what?
Jack?
Jack, you're such a drama queen. I was sad for you. Damn it.
But Mickey and Jessica, that's another story.
And the Grand Banshee says she can only really save Mickey and Jessica if they not only end this war, but promise to never war with each other ever again.
No more war.
Never again. Don't say that, sir. I'll be out of work.
And so everybody agrees except for the weird tunnel guy. And they all give him a look and they're like, what the fuck, dude? No more war. And he's like, fine, no more war. And so everybody's on board.
Oh, all right then.
So the Grand Banshee does a hard reset and brings back Mickey and Jessica and everyone else that has died since the beginning of this whole thing.
I must have fell asleep. I had a few and I was dead tired.
Including Sean. I missed Sean. I missed him this entire movie.
Where's Count Grogan?
Oh, I'll be keeping him for the next 100 years or so.
Everybody is there except for the cousin, the one that started the fighting in the first place, the Draco Malfoy-esque cousin. And the Grand Banshee's like, I'll give him back to you in about 100 years. I'm gonna hold on to him just to make sure the war doesn't start all over again. And they're like, that's fair.
Good thinking, Grand Banshee. Wife's side of the family.
That's fair, ma'am. Thank you. Even his own parents don't really put up a fight, which is kind of sad. And then after this, the brothers are still being trolled into hunting for non-existent gold.
There's no pots here. There's no gold. You cheated us.
They hit a septic tank, I think. Gross. This whole scene is just gross. I don't like it. And then everybody, including Jack and Kathleen, attend Mickey and Jessica's wedding. This background looks very fake. It reminds me of like an 80s family photo shoot, you know what I mean? Oh, and they play the song that they were dancing to when they met. It's like their song. That's cute. And then one by one, everybody leaves in a shimmer fairy style. Oh my god, it's the seashell from before.
It is beautiful. I can see it now.
Oh, character growth. Maybe the bar is kind of on the ground, but that's kind of cute. I like that. And it's a happy ending for everybody. That's the end, the real end. All in all, I think these two movies, it's two movies, I think they're pretty cute. They're very Hallmarky, but they are cute. Yeah, have you ever thought about Romeo and Juliet with a happy ending? This is it. This is my one, can I tell you my one big complaint? Like, the one thing that I feel like is a missed opportunity, and I don't even know how it would fit in because there's already so much going on in these movies. Right from the beginning of the first movie, I thought the plot twist was going to be that Kathleen was a mermaid. I don't know why. It's just she was in the water when he met her, and there was an underwater palace, so I was like, maybe that'll come back in. Maybe she'll, like, rescue Jessica from the underwater palace. I don't know. It just felt like that was what they were setting up. There's even a moment where Jessica and Mickey laugh when Jack says that Kathleen is another human, and so I thought that was like a nod to that. I don't know why. I was disappointed that Kathleen was just a regular human. I think part of that too is just I thought it would be funny if Jack was like, oh, my girlfriend's a fish. That would have been a funny reaction out of him. But anyway, all in all, these two videos have been pretty fun to make. I'd like to thank Adam again for requesting them because I had never heard about them before. When you guys request stuff, it's always fun because I always learn about new things to cover that I never would have thought about before. So even if it takes me a second to get to your request, don't hesitate to send them to me. I'm always happy to learn about new things. But yeah, that's what I got for you today, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Everything you do to support this channel means the world to me. If you're new here and you're a fan of nonsense, maybe consider sticking around because I post nonsense all the time. And remember, my name is Avery. I'm a YouTuber if you say so because thanks to you guys, this is technically a YouTube channel. Bye!